Hey everyone, we are going to be learning about design fidelity today. Now, I'm in our wireframes resource, and you should be dragging all of these into your exploration file. I mean, you can stay within the same file. All my resources are broken out into different files just to show those different steps. Now, I'm in my wireframes file over here, and nothing is ever designed and perfected in that same step. This is something that just doesn't happen. Getting to those final great designs takes a lot of testing and refinement. Iteration is something that we strive to do because you're never going to just finalize and move forward. That's why we went through wireframing, first sketching, user flows, wireframes, and then prototypes, because ultimately we are going to change a lot of things before we finalize them. And then even after we finalize our style and visual direction, certain things are going to change, and our direction and visual style are going to have to adapt to that. This is a great segue into the build, measure, and learn cycle. Like I said, we worked on sketches, then came into these wireframes, and using our user flows, it helped guide us into the different directions we were taking with some of the choices we made here. Now, when I'm talking about the build and measure learn cycle, this is something that should apply to everything you do. The first step is building. You should explore ideas and prototype the possibilities. And I feel like we're at that step because there's a whole other section that could be its own course where you measure, you test all your assumptions, you go and prototype, and you learn from users and learn in ways to incorporate that data into your new designs and your new iterations. And that's where learning comes in. Learning from your users and validating or squashing your assumptions to get ready to iterate it once again. In essence, you should seek feedback early on and learn to apply it. This is how you build understanding about the product you are building. Over here, we know that we're kind of building a bit off of assumption. We don't know if users are going to want things laid out in a certain way like this, or they're going to want different types of information. We should be prepared to change based off of that. This is also how you build and reach a level and type of fidelity that resonates with users. The reason we seek feedback is to use those learnings to inform and improve our designs. And if you wait too late to test, that can be really costly. And often it proves to be way too late to actually act on that feedback. So you should use these low fidelity wireframes to start getting feedback. And as you continue to improve on your product and build up that fidelity, you should continue to test. So think of the design process as not a linear process from beginning to end. Yeah, there may be an end, but it's almost like a series of circles that, repeat themselves. You may have to wireframe again. You may have to sketch again and, create user flows again to finally get to a point where, okay, you're really happy. You're starting to build up all that fidelity. And once you have your style, then, you shouldn't be afraid to go back and test and sketch all over again. It's totally fine. This can have a massive impact on how we build our certain elements. That means, based off of feedback, the way we use typography, are things legible and readable, like we've started to, build that fidelity over here? Is there enough hierarchy and contrast between typographic elements? How about the hierarchy of information? Are things in the right place? I think a lot about that when it comes to the product page and the home page, which are really, really important pages in our app. Does our navigation structure need to be reworked? Is it accessible? Is it usable? These are the types of questions you should always be asking yourself. There's always ways you can improve, even after you've improved. What about the style of our components, like our buttons, our cards? Does the style of this card make things look too condensed? When I'm looking at some of the progress we've made with some of these cards, does this button, seem clickable? Are our inputs actually working? Does that seem like a nice toggle, or does this seem like a very clear input? It has a profound impact on all of our choices, and you shouldn't be making large decisions without proper feedback. So yeah, we can move forward with our assumptions, but remember, they're assumptions and we may be proven wrong, and that's okay.